To quote the 40-year-old virgin, I always thought that Matt Damon was a bit of a Streisand, but he's rocking the shit in this movie. The Bourne Identity, released in 2002, and is directed by Doug Liman, who's also directed such films like Swingers, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Jumper, and Edge of Tomorrow. Or was it Live, Die, Repeat? Or was it Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat? Or Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow? Die, Die Again, Die, Repeat, Die? I don't know, that film went through so many titles. But it's so good. And this film is starring Matt Damon, Franka Potenti, Chris Cooper, Clive Owen, and Brian Cox. His skin. When the fishing boat returns to land, he discovers that his name is Jason Bourne, or he could be John Michael Caine. Probably the best scene to establish who this guy is, who Matt Damon is in the film. We don't know his name at this point, but he's sleeping in a park bench, and the cops come over and say, hey, park's closed, you can't sleep here, and they start poking his knife stick in his face. He grabs hold of it and takes these two cops out in like 3 moves and disarms them. Dude's a badass. And the film continues exploring this mystery of who this person is and why he has this certain set of skills that makes him dangerous for people like these people. Damn it, I was trying to do the Taken thing. If you take my daughter, I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna kill you. I think it's more of a pirate than an Irish accent, but whatever. But we eventually come to find out that Jason Bourne is a highly trained American assassin through the CIA, a program called Treadstone that technically doesn't exist. I was late to the game while watching this movie. This is one of the few franchises where I caught the franchise, or at least I saw my first experience with it later on. My first film in the Bourne franchise that I watched fully was The Bourne Supremacy. My friends were going to go see the film in theaters, and I hadn't seen the first one, but they wanted me to come along, and they were kind of filling me in along the way. I mean, it's pretty simple. This guy's an assassin. He loses his memory. He doesn't know exactly who he is, and he's a total badass. Wow, this film is way more simple than I thought it was. So watching him kick some major ass in that film, of course, I had to go back and watch The Bourne Identity. And of course, because it was opening weekend, The Bourne Identity was playing on one of the stations on cable. I think it was like TNT or USA or something. So I was able to catch it the same day, but I watched the second one before the first. Shame on me. I try not to do that. However, in my defense, they're basically the same movie. I'm Matt Damon. I play Jason Bourne. I don't know who I am, but I'm a badass. And hey, the CIA is after me again. I have to go on the run. Yeah, same movie. And I always forget just how forgetful I am when it comes to this franchise. Because the backstory behind everything, I always forget. I've seen Ultimatum. I've seen Bourne Legacy. I haven't seen the newest Jason Bourne one. I think it was just called Jason Bourne. I heard not so good things. I heard it was fine. It wasn't terrible, but it was just like, if we're coming back to this, why do it? But I always forget, what happens in each movie, or why he's on the run in each movie. And I forget what Treadstone is, who is running it, and what the real Treadstone behind the scenes organization is, the CIA. I always forget. This franchise, it's a blur for me. The only thing that sticks with me are the action scenes. And this Jason Bourne guy is a badass because he doesn't do the obvious choice. So we got people, Jack Bauer, James Bond, other JBs, who are always using some high-tech gadgets that they get from headquarters, or they're using some, a bunch of guns to shoot people and kill them. Jason Bourne will find an inanimate object just in the room and take you out. He kicks a dude's ass in this movie with a pen. And not just like, hey, I'm gonna give you lead poisoning. No. Kick your ass and stab you. Needless to say, the action in this movie is so impressive. And Matt Damon, at this point in his career, was seen as, that dramatic guy, that dramatic actor, Good Will Hunting. He's that guy, that tough guy, but he's warm at heart and he's soft, on the inside. This movie was the start of, oh, hey, this guy's actually pretty freaking cool. And I want to say that The Bourne Identity was the start of this whole revitalization for several careers. Hey, if we put this lead actor or this person who used to be a lead actor but hasn't really done anything big and substantial recently, if we put them into a premise like the Bourne Identity, where they're this badass secret agent or they're this badass private eye, and we make them out to be a total badass, we can have a brand new franchise on our hands. I mean, that's really how Taken got started. Bourne Identity, the whole Bourne franchise happened. It was just like, hey, let's do that, but with a retired CIA agent and Liam Neeson. Another thing to take away from this film is the cinematography. It's really chaotic. We have a lot of kinetic energy from the camera, a lot of handhelds, and the camera is constantly moving, really to give us that sense of paranoia and sense of anxiety that Jason Bourne is feeling as he's trying to figure out who he is, where to go. He's walking down the street. He's trying to find, where do I go? He just got off the boat and he ends up in a U.S. embassy, thank God. But then he's in the embassy, he's trying to escape because they want him for questioning, and there's a lot of quick cuts, there's a lot of shaky cams, really giving you the perspective of the chaos that is happening inside Jason Bourne's head, even though it's controlled and mechanical chaos, because you can see just how smart this guy is at defending himself and figuring ways out of situations. When he walks into a room, he's always taking account, okay, what are the exits? How many people are here? If there is a gun, where would it be? Or what's the most likely place it would be? He's memorized all the license plates on the cars outside. I struggle remembering, like, the last person that I helped at my current job. I struggle remembering my students' names when I teach. I can't imagine how paranoid and the anxiety and the pressure that this dude is under. So is it a solid action movie? Absolutely. It's actually essential, I think, if you're going to get into the action-adventure genre. Is it a satisfying movie in regards to story and plot and character development? No. But I think that's the nature of this film. So if you're going into this movie expecting like a standard action spy film where we get a little bit of the character's backstory and we get a sense of who this guy is, we don't get that here. Because our protagonist doesn't know who he is. We don't know if he's a nice guy. We don't know if he's a ladies' man like James Bond. We don't know if he's cool and witty like Tony Stark and Iron Man. It's almost like we're watching a birth and a quick growing up of this character, Jason Bourne. He's pulled from the water, and he's just kind of thrown into society, and we see him evolve as a person. Not fully, of course, because he doesn't regain his entire memory here. I know that this film is based on a long series of books that I have not read, so I don't know how this film compares to the book, or if it's the same thing. I think I heard that this movie is actually pretty good when it comes to the book Bourne Identity. The other entries in the film universe, it's just title only. The actual book has nothing to do with what happens in the films. But I heard the books are pretty good, so maybe I'll read them. Maybe, probably not. But like I said, this movie is essential when it comes to the action spy genre. It really introduced this new side of Matt Damon that we had never seen before. We have great action where it's as simplistic as it can be, yet complex, because we see, or at least we get the sense of the inner workings of figuring out, okay, what's the best maneuver to counter this punch? What's the best maneuver to counter this pistol being shoved in my face? Where's the best place to go to escape this building? Basically, I'm saying this film is intelligent when it comes to the action sequence, but we still don't have a solid grasp on who these characters are, or really what's going on in the world, and what's going on in this overall story, this overall plot. But that's why you come back for the second one. I'm gonna give the Bourne Identity 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
Alright everyone, usually at this point in my video reviews, I select at random which movie I'm gonna be watching next, but it is horror week, so I've got to watch a couple of screeners that I've received from gingernutsofhorror.com. Again, a collaboration that I'm in with. It's a great website where you can go to view a bunch of horror topics when it comes to books, films, TV, video games, anything horror. Any artist out there that comments or creates it kind of gets published there. They're based out of Europe, and I love sharing my stuff with them, so they provided me bunch of screeners. I've selected a couple, and we're going to check them out later this week. So guys, if you have any recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, you can leave your recommendation below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter, leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout on the channel. And if you really want me to do your recommendation, get it done as quickly as possible, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do. You can attach your movie to your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it and get your review done as quickly as I can. So guys, have you seen the Bourne Identity? What did you think about it? Where does it fall in your ranking of all the Bourne franchise films? Whatever you think, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you'll know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.